David, if Joe Biden gets elected and Democrats take the Senate, what will Democrats actually get done? So, first of all, if Biden wins and Democrats take the Senate, it's a 2-year period. OK, Democrats could then lose the Senate in 2022 or lose the House. We don't know. There's the low hanging fruit and then there's the more complicated stuff. So certainly Joe Biden will have no choice but to use executive orders to undo a ton of Trump's executive orders. Now, fortunately, many of Trump's executive orders were just symbolic in nature. They didn't really do much, but a lot of executive orders will be needed to stop the damage of Trump's executive orders that do things. I do think that relatively quickly, a Democratic Senate and Joe Biden would move to try to undo as much as possible of Donald Trump's tax reform plan that included handouts to the very rich and even provisions that allow Donald Trump to extend his tax loss carry forwards indefinitely rather than just 10 or 18 years, however much it was. But there's a really big question here, which is that Republicans now, I mean, listen, they stopped Merrick Garland in 2016, and now they will probably succeed at putting in Amy Coney Barrett. They don't care about hypocrisy. They will obstruct. They will do whatever. Democrats, if they win the Senate and Joe Biden wins, are going to have to grapple with what to do about the filibuster. The filibuster, which requires 60 Senate votes instead of a simple majority to get a lot of things done. And I don't think we are going to see major legislative action if Republicans really suffer an embarrassing defeat where Trump is made a one-term president, which is rare in American politics. And if Republicans lose the Senate, they're going to be hurting and they will get in the way of anything they can. I don't see Obamacare being expanded the way Joe Biden wants without 60 votes. And there's no way that they're going to get 60 votes. So the question will be, do they get rid of the filibuster? I don't see Joe Biden's clean energy plan going anywhere if it depends on a Senate that is 52-48 in favor of Democrats, if that's what it is. So if Democrats take control of the Senate and they rewrite the filibuster rules, then you may see more action done. Now, are they going to do that? It's risky. Barack Obama alluded to it at the funeral of John Lewis. That's probably the highest profile support we've seen of getting rid of the filibuster. But understand that whatever Democrats imagine that it takes, 8 to 12 months of Joe Biden's first term to get rid of the filibuster. And then Democrats get something done in the second year of Joe Biden's first term. And then imagine that Republicans take back the Senate and maybe even the House, we don't know, in 2022. You have opened the door for Republicans to use the lack of a filibuster to do ungodly things. So this is always the question. Does it start a race to the bottom? I don't know the answer. But if somehow Democrats figured out a way to get the votes, I believe the priorities would be deal with coronavirus relief in a more serious manner, if depending on when that happens, expand Obamacare in the way that Joe Biden wants to do, new tax reform plan, clean energy. Those would be the four that I see the most likely that Democrats would want to tackle if given the opportunity, again, depending on what degree of a majority do they have in the Senate or do they get rid of the filibuster. One last thing. Without getting rid of the filibuster, Democrats could still get things done if they take the Senate, even if it's only, 51-49, 52-48. But they will have to concede a ton to Republicans. They will have to pass their bills with these horrifying, disgusting amendments that they put in there in order to get some Republican votes. Is the country better off if that's what they do? I don't know. You've really got to look at the specifics. We've got a great bonus show for you today with producer Pat Ford. We will be back next week with the regular show, the bonus show, and the vice presidential debate is next week. Kamala, I think she's going to crush Mike Pence. We'll see you next week if you're not a member. If you are a member, enjoy the bonus show coming up right after this.